Well, hello again, and thanks for listening to that performance of the E flat minor prelude and fugue. Now you're going to see just a few couple minutes of me working on what I call pitch count charts. And in my theory class years ago, we had to count the number of each of the 12 pitches in the chromatic scale that would appear in various pieces by Bach. And it's a little bit tedious, of course, you can imagine. You see me doing it here for one of the little preludes in C minor that I did in a recent video. But I'm just counting the number of notes and writing them down on a sheet of paper. There you can see how many C's and C sharps, D's, E flats, etc. for each of the 12 pitches. And you can do this for any piece you like. It just takes an awful lot of time. But what you can do, as I found, is you can put this information, this data, into a spreadsheet. I've got a Excel spreadsheet here for you, and I just picked a chart. There's several. You could do like a standard chart, but I like these ones because they look like artwork almost. So I'm just entering the data in for that little C minor prelude number 2. There were 50 C's, 7 C sharps, 38 D's, 47 E flats, etc., etc. And the system is plotting that information on this circular kind of a chart. And it really isn't telling us anything in particular, but I just feel like it's such a beautiful thing to look at. And each one, of course, is different. This one looks very much like a 5-point kind of a star with two very wide sides to it. You can see that the places where the points are sticking out the furthest, those are the notes that Bach uses the most. And of course, when we're in a particular key, we have certain fundamental or hierarchical pitches, the tonic, the dominant, the subdominant, and then notes that are less rare and more chromatic, not diatonic, but chromatic. And those are the notes that create spiciness and expression in the music. And in the piece that you just heard me play, and I'll show you the pitch count chart for that in just a moment, but for this little C minor prelude in front of you with the green star, you can see that at the top of it, there was a lot of C's. Obviously, this piece is in C minor. C is the tonic. We're going to have, that's the note we have the most of. And this being in C minor, of course, we've got an E flat in the middle of the tonic triad. So you can see E flat, that note, we've got a lot of it. In between C and E flat, we have the note D flat, and there's very few of those in this piece, so that point is close to the center of this star. We have quite a few Ds. That's the second note of the scale, or the supertonic, as we would call it. And then the E flat, as we just said, we have a lot of those, so that arm is sticking out sharply in the star. E natural, there's very few of those. You can see the point is very close to the center, but then getting to F, that's the subdominant of the key of C minor, and so it's a very fundamental pitch. We've got a lot of those. That's a nice long pointy arm on this weird looking star. Not too many F sharps, but the G, you can see the G, wow, we got a lot of that. And the G, of course, C, D, E, F, G. G is the dominant in the key of C minor. And the dominant, along with the tonic, are fundamental pitches, and Bach uses these When we find these notes, you want to bring them out, or intervals of a fifth, a fourth, or an octave, bring those out. Then we've got the A flat, a few of those. It is in the key signature. Not too many A's, right? Because in the key signature of C minor, we have B flat, E flat, and A flat. So to have an A natural is like, again, not too common. And if we do have one, it's very spicy to the ears. So the A is very close to the center of this little diagram. We've got a nice long B flat arm there sticking out because there's a lot of that note. And then the B natural, just a few of those, surprisingly. Yeah, so that is the little C minor prelude from a recent video. It kind of looks like a spider web with a something like a Star Trek logo. I did another one here. This is for the little prelude number 1 in C major. That was also a recent video. I'll try to put a card up in the screen so you can have a listen to those. They're super short pieces. And you can see there, that one being in a major key means that the distribution of the long points on this circular graph are different than in a minor key. Also, these little pieces, the little preludes, are not nearly as chromatic, full of spicy notes that maybe don't belong in the home key as some of the other bigger, more meaty pieces, even the piece that I performed in this video. But yeah, this is the little C major prelude and what it looks like. You can see we have a lot of C's, a lot of D's. Those arms are sticking out well into the cobweb. Lots of E's, a few F's, plenty of G's, and quite a few A's and B's. You can see that we have virtually no or next to no of the notes C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, B flat. So I suppose in a way, assuming you have some basic theory, these diagrams could be useful for, if you're a visual learner, for just having a nice reminder of theory and the use of harmony, at least in this Western music of Bach. And but I think they're just so pretty to look at. I would be tempted to make a calendar, one for every month. And you can change the color too, which is what I did on this next one. Here's the chart for the prelude you just heard. Prelude number 8 in E flat minor, where you were looking at my foot, and the little bits of commentary as I played. I hope that was helpful. But yeah, this is quite a different shape than the previous. I mean, if I put up, let's say the C major. Actually, no, let's take the C minor. I'm going to split screen and show you at the same time the E flat minor prelude alongside the C minor prelude. And so you can see Bach uses a lot of certain notes of the scale and less of other notes. So let's go back to the A flat minor prelude, or sorry, the E flat minor prelude, number 8. There it is, like a dartboard. And now I'm going to show you the fugue that you just heard. Now it has a very similar look, almost the same actually. Let's put those side by side. Yeah, so you can see that around the 2 and 3 o'clock region, and then the 7 and 8 o'clock region, as well around the 10 o'clock region, there's a little bit of length. But basically, they're the same picture. Going back to the, what was it, the C major little prelude, let's have a look at that again. Wow, very, very different. The points are in completely different directions, or they're lacking points. And quantity of certain notes. Anyhow, I hope that you find that kind of amusing and fun to look at. And yeah, if you've got some Bach that you're working on, preferably a short piece, because let me tell you, it takes a long time to go through this stuff, counting each pitch. Oh, and then if you lose count, heaven help you. But just plant that data into your spreadsheet and have some fun with it. And you can keep it by your practice room. Might be a nice extra source of inspiration. Anyhow, it's time to run. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you again soon for more Bach. Thanks and take care. Bye-bye.